Welcome to BioPhobia. Now we are going to discuss about organ and tissue specific manifestation of diseases. So, what are organ specific and tissue specific manifestation of diseases? Manifestation, the word manifestation refers to the symptoms or the understanding that the pathogen is still prevailing in our body. So it shows the clear signs of existence of the pathogen in our body. That is what is called as manifestation. So when you are sick, you know that there is some pathogen that is present in our body causing some sort of discomfort in our body. It may be a cough, it may be a sore throat, it may be running nose, it may be breathlessness of any sort. So all these are called manifestation of a disease. Say for example, when the mode of manifestation is more or less related to the mode of entry of the pathogen. Say for example, it is through your nasal passage, which enters your nostrils, and the bacteria which is causing tuberculosis, which is Mycobacterium tuberculosis, that enters your body through the nostrils, which is a bacterium, and its point of infection or its widespread establishment of the disease would be in their lungs region. So it affects your lungs. Followed by yet another example of infectious agents. It is a malarial parasite. Its mode of entry is through vector. The vector is female Anopheles mosquito. So this female Anopheles mosquito would drop in the malarial parasite. It injects the malarial parasite into your blood. So the target organ in this case would be your liver cells and RBC. So now you should have clearly understood what manifestation of a disease are. So it may affect an organ, say lungs. It may also affect certain tissues like liver cells and RBC, which is present in our blood, red blood corpuscles. So all these are organ specific and tissue specific manifestation of diseases. Now we are going to discuss about the principles behind treatment. Okay, now we have understood how the diseases are caused and what are the manifestation of the diseases, how to treat it. We are supposed to treat it, right? We are supposed to treat the disease and we need to stay healthy. So there are two possibilities by which you can treat the disease. Either you can reduce the effect of the disease, or you can kill the cause of the disease, kill the pathogen. How to reduce the effect of disease? You can consume medicine. See, disease can be viewed or you can feel the real nature of the disease by getting the symptoms of the disease. So when you want to reduce the effect of it, it is quite obvious that you will have to reduce the symptoms caused by it. How to reduce it? The symptoms may be fever, it may be cough, it may be diarrhea. All these are symptoms of the disease. You can take medicine so that these symptoms which are prevailing for a disease may subside. Followed by, you can take complete rest. When you give complete rest to your body, you are conserving your energy. By the way you conserve your energy, that your entire body would be concentrating on eliminating your pathogen. On that way, you are giving a boost to your immune system by giving it more energy to act upon your microorganism rather than wasting energy for any other work. So complete bed rest during infectious time would actually help you to boost up your immunity. That is why whenever you visit a doctor saying that you are ill or sick, he would ask you to take proper rest, proper sleep. It is to conserve your energy. Followed by the next principle of treatment is to kill the pathogen. How do you kill it? With the help of certain chemical substances called antibiotics. Antibiotics are chemical substances which are produced by microorganisms. Microorganisms, especially bacteria and fungi produces antibiotics. Okay, so bacteria and fungi, there are certain species of bacteria and certain other species of fungi would produce antibiotics. So these antibiotics are normally chemicals. What do? They kill or stop the growth of pathogenic bacteria in our body. So, when you visit a doctor, he would suggest you certain antibiotics if you are not getting a proper cure from the disease. So, in that case, the antibiotics would be suggested based on the weight of your body, your age, and the nature of your disease. Okay, so you are supposed to consume antibiotics, which are chemicals that would stop or kill the pathogenic organism which is causing a disease in your body. What are the examples of antibiotics? Penicillin is an example. You have tetracycline, etc. So these are certain names of antibiotics which are normally suggested by doctors against infections. Now, there is a question. Are these antibiotics really effective against viruses? The answer would be no. Why is it not effective against viruses? Now, for this question, you need to look into the nature of viruses. Viruses are pathogens which normally depend on their host for all its activities. It is completely dependent on the host. It has got no mechanism by itself. When you take viruses, it is made up of an outer protein coat and you will have an inner genetic material present. The inner genetic material can either be a DNA or an RNA. So what do? See, the DNA or the RNA is a genetic material that is present in a virus. So this virus genetic material would get into the host cell. Once it gets into the host cell, this viral DNA will go and bind with the DNA of the host cell. Say for example, this is the host cell where it has got its own chromosome present. When this DNA is injected into it, it goes and binds with this host DNA. Once it binds with the host DNA, it takes over the entire control of the host cell and start to synthesize viral particles. Viruses by nature do not have any mechanism by itself, and hence these antibiotics will not work against viruses. When you look into the nature of antibiotics, there are two important mode of action of antibiotics. Number one is they would block the biochemical pathway of the bacterium or the pathogen. And number two, they would actually hinder cell wall synthesis. In the case of bacteria, if you take it, it is made up. The bacteria is made up of cell wall, and this antibiotics would actually stop or hinder the formation of cell wall. Thereby, they would kill the pathogenic organism. Virus has got no cell wall to hinder the cell wall synthesis. It is just made up of an outer protein coat. And in the case of biochemical pathway also, viruses do not have any biochemical pathway by itself. So you cannot go stop the biochemical pathway. In that ways, antibiotics may not be effective against viral infections. Now we are going to discuss about the next topic, which is principle of prevention. I always believe in a saying, prevention is better than cure. Instead of going in for looking forward for a medicine, for a cure, for a recovery from a disease, rather you could stay safe and you could prevent yourself from diseases, as we do right now for COVID infection, wearing mask, maintaining social distancing, avoid overcrowding region, and avoid participating in any of the activity like where you have more of people in a gathering. So all these are preventive measures that we are right now taking to prevent against COVID infection. The same way, prevention is a better reaction that you can take against infectious agents. Infectious agents nowadays are present everywhere. You need to stay safe and you need to sanitize your hands on a regular basis. There are certain general ways by which you can prevent the disease. Not only COVID, any disease for that matter. Avoid overcrowding region where you have more chances of getting airborne infections. More airborne pathogens will be present in a region where you have more of people crowd and where you have poor ventilation. Proper air circulation may not be there in that region. Please do avoid certain region. And then you need to have a neat, safe, and clean drinking water where you can prevent all these waterborne infections in such cases. Followed by a clean environment always, where you may not allow water stagnation to happen, so that it may be a breeding place for mosquitoes, which acts as vectors in spreading many vector-borne pathogens, especially the malarial parasite. You are very much aware about the dengue virus, which is spreading right now. Followed by, you need to have a very proper and balanced diet with all your nutritive value in your food in a right proportion. These are all certain general ways that you should take to prevent yourselves from infectious agents or any sort of infectious diseases. And there are certain other specific ways also by which you can actually prevent the disease. One such a specific way is what is called as vaccination. Vaccination is also referred to as immunization. Many deadly diseases such as smallpox, smallpox has got completely eradicated from the world because of immunization, mass immunization, and polio also. So these are certain living examples of viruses or infectious agents which has got eliminated completely by vaccination. So vaccination or immunization is an important measure that is to be taken to prevent yourself from diseases. Now we are going to talk in detail about what is vaccination. It is also called as immunization. Immunization was first identified or found by Edward Jenner. Edward Jenner found the process of immunization or vaccination against smallpox infection. Okay, so he had injected a large number of killed, you also call them as killed or attenuated strains of smallpox virus. So what he did was he injected this killed or attenuated strains in a person and who was found to be immunized, or he was found to be protected against the smallpox infection. So smallpox infection during his time was epidemic. It had a wide spread of the disease and it has taken away lives of many people during that time. And he also realized that there are certain cow maids who remained unaffected by this smallpox infection. He wanted to analyze and find out the reason behind it, and he could identify that it was because those cow maids were affected by a less virulent strain or more or less a related virus called cowpox viral infection. Okay, so they were affected by this cowpox viral infection, and he proposed that those milkmaids cow maids who were affected by this cowpox infection remained unaffected by this smallpox infection. So now this cowpox viral infection or the cowpox virus can also be used as a vaccine against this smallpox infection. So that is what was his discovery. What are we actually doing in the process of vaccination or immunization? We are actually fooling our immune system. How do we fool our immune system? You just inject the killed or attenuated strains of any microorganism or pathogenic organism. As it is killed, it is not going to cause any type of disease in your body. Rather, it would give an alert to your immune system. Your immune system will be able to produce certain memory cells based on the vaccination that is taken. So those memory cells will be present in your body when your body comes across such a pathogen for the second time. So the first time it was killed an attenuated strain, so it was not able to establish a disease in our body. When you happen to get exposed to such a pathogen for the second time, your memory cells would remember the nature of the pathogen and it will be able to produce the immune cells against it, and easily it would get rid of it. So you can stay healthy and you may not get such an infection again. So this is what is the purpose of immunization or vaccination. As per WHO norms, the vaccination or the immunization schedule would be normally given to the newborn kids as soon as they are born. You call it as immunization schedule or immunization chart, which would include many different types of vaccines such as BCG against TB, tuberculosis, Bacillus calmette-guerin is the name of the vaccine, and you have DPT, which is diphtheria, pertussis, and tetanus. So all these vaccines, these are certain examples. You know about polio vaccine, and you have hepatitis vaccine also. So all these are certain examples of vaccines which are available for you to take up and protect yourselves from infectious agents.
We have come to the end of this video. Thanks for watching BioPhobia. Kindly do comment below if you have any doubts or clarifications regarding this session. Thank you once again.